Emotional dependency is silent. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It's in the way you check your phone every 5 minutes, the way your mood drops when she doesn't reply, the way you bend, fold, and chase just to feel close. And at first, it looks like love. It looks like connection, but it's not. It's need. And need is not attractive. It's repelling. Because the moment your center is in someone else's hands, you've already lost your frame. This video is about reclaiming it, killing the need, taking your power back without closing your heart and without losing your edge. Let's begin. Emotional dependency doesn't start with her. It starts with you, with the belief that love has to be earned, that attention equals worth, that closeness means safety. Maybe it began with a parent. Maybe it began with rejection. Maybe it began when you felt unseen for the first time and decided, if I just give enough, they won't leave. But that giving turned into sacrificing. That care turned into control. That openness turned into attachment. You weren't loving her. You were trying to secure yourself through her. And that's not love. That's survival. The good news? It can be unlearned. But first, you have to face it without flinching. You'll know you're emotionally dependent when her presence calms you, but her distance destroys you. When a delayed reply makes your heart race. When a cold tone spins in your mind for hours. When your confidence rises and falls based on how she feels that day. That's not love. That's slavery. Because a man in emotional dependency doesn't lead. He reacts. He overthinks, overtexts, overapologizes. He molds himself to fit her mood, and she might not even notice. But she feels it. Because energy doesn't lie. And no woman can fully respect a man who's addicted to her validation. The moment you disconnect from your center, you start orbiting hers. You wait for her mood to stabilize yours. You wait for her attention to feel seen. You wait for her words to feel enough. And without realizing it, you've handed her the controls to your emotional state. You're no longer grounded. You're floating. You're no longer choosing. You're chasing. And every move you make is based on how to stay close, not how to stay true. That's when attraction dies, because no woman wants to be your anchor. She wants to feel yours. And if you've given that power away, it's time to take it back. At the root of emotional dependency is one belief: I'm not enough without her. So you seek constant reassurance. You interpret silence as rejection. You read too deep into texts, tones, glances, because your worth is on the line. That's scarcity talking. That's the wounded boy inside you, still trying to earn love by overgiving. But here's the truth. The more you seek validation, the more you signal lack. And women don't respect lack. They mother it, or they leave it. But they desire men who move from abundance, who give without needing, who connect without attaching. Because that energy doesn't pull from her, it pulls her in. The first step to killing emotional dependency is returning to yourself. Not your performance, not your achievements, not your image. You. The part of you that's solid without applause. That doesn't bend for attention. That doesn't need to be chosen to feel worthy. You reclaim that center by cutting the noise. Stop checking the phone. Stop replaying her words. Stop making her your emotional weather. And start asking, what do I want? What does my body need right now? Where have I abandoned me? Just to feel safe through her. That's not distance. That's alignment. You don't break emotional dependency by becoming cold. You break it by becoming present. Because most dependency isn't about her. It's about escape. You're using her to avoid stillness. You're using her to avoid facing your void. You're using the highs of love to numb the lows inside you. But when you stop reaching and start rooting, everything shifts. You feel your breath again. You feel your body again. You stop grasping for reassurance and start building inner resonance. Now, connection doesn't come from need. It comes from wholeness. And women can feel the difference. Because when your presence is full, your energy becomes irresistible. To kill emotional dependency, you must upgrade your emotional standards. You stop settling for half-hearted affection. You stop tolerating mixed signals. You stop craving scraps of attention just to feel seen. Because now, you don't chase love that costs your self-respect. You only accept energy that aligns with how you treat yourself. And that means you walk away from hot and cold games. You disengage from women who want your presence but not your essence. You release anyone who triggers your old addiction to feeling needed. Because the man who knows his value doesn't cling, he chooses. And in that choice, he regains power, not over her, over himself. When you stop needing her to choose you, you finally choose yourself. You stop waiting for her affection to feel seen. You stop relying on her attention to feel alive. You stop craving her approval to feel like a man. Because you remember, you are not the boy hoping to be picked. You are the man deciding what aligns with your mission, your peace, your standard. And that shift, it's quiet, but felt. Your eyes change, your tone slows, your energy carries a weight that doesn't chase, but attracts. Because now, love is no longer something you beg for. It's something that meets you where you already stand. The real test comes when she pulls back or comes closer. Will you lose your balance when she withdraws? Will you soften your standards when she returns? Will you fall back into old patterns just to feel that hit of closeness? Because emotional dependency doesn't fully die until it's tempted. The Stoic man doesn't flinch. He feels the pull, but stays centered. He acknowledges the emotion, but doesn't obey it. He leads himself, even when his heart wants to chase. That's when you know the power is back in your hands. You're not resisting her, you're respecting you. And that respect builds the one thing emotional dependency never could: freedom. You used to need her to feel okay. Now you're okay. Whether she stays, leaves, or never texts again. That's not bitterness, that's balance. You don't close your heart. You just stop giving it away for free. You don't shut down your feelings. You just stop selling your peace for attention. Because you've replaced craving with clarity. You've replaced panic with presence. You've replaced need with choice. Now, you don't love from fear. You love from overflow. You don't wait to be chosen. You choose yourself every day. And that version of you, he doesn't just regain power, he becomes it. You don't kill emotional dependency by cutting her off. You kill it by becoming whole again. By breathing through discomfort instead of escaping it. By holding your center when everything tries to shake it. By leading your heart, not being led by it. And once you do that, your energy changes. You speak less, but with more weight. You connect deeper, but without fear. You attract more, but need nothing. If you're building this kind of power, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. The next drop will help you sharpen emotional control, self-respect, and presence, so you never lose yourself in someone else again. You don't need to be colder. You need to be clearer. Clear on your value, clear on your boundaries, clear on what kind of energy you no longer accept, no matter how beautiful, how tempting, or how familiar it feels. Because the man who used to need love to feel alive now lives in a way that honors himself first. He doesn't chase connection. He creates alignment. He doesn't beg to be understood. He stands where he's respected. He doesn't fear being alone. He builds from it. This isn't a performance, it's a shift, a return, a quiet revolution. And once it clicks, you never move the same again. When you kill emotional dependency, you stop needing someone to complete you and start living as someone who's already full. You don't get attached easily. You connect intentionally. You don't react out of fear. You respond from presence. You don't lose yourself in others. You meet them from your center. That's not just how you regain your power. That's how you become it. What's one pattern or belief you're letting go of right now to take your power back from emotional dependency? Drop it in the comments. If this message hit home, don't miss Master Emotional Control Like a Stoic and how to make women respect you without chasing them. They'll reinforce the presence and clarity that make you unshakable in love, in life, in everything.